So, first of all, I want to give condolences to the families and loved ones of the people who lost their lives in New Orleans a couple of nights ago, New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, whatever you want to call it. Yet, this tragic event is sad. When it first came out, the news is all on it. And I know a lot of times these news channels want to be the first to put out the information, but you got to be careful about that because you put out information too fast, too much information too fast. A lot of times it can be wrong because first they said the truck crossed the border 2 days ago or 2 days before the event. Then they said the truck crossed the border 2 weeks before the event. Then they found out that it was rented on a tour road site. Then they tried to say the dude was like that he came across from the border. He was probably a terrorist. That's the first thing they said. But then they kind of found out he was homegrown here, right here in the great state of Texas, citizen. And I try to look up the fella's family, and they say he got like deep ties or long ties. His family got ties in East Texas. So still don't know a whole lot about his upbringing. Haven't heard anything. You know, want to talk to his family just yet. I know they talked to a guy that he went to school with, and they said, he was a smart dude, mild mannered, whatever the case may be. But anyway, thing is, like I say, you just don't want to put out too much information too fast, get in the wrong information, get out there, and then don't nobody know who to believe. But anyway, with that being said, I want to talk about both stories, the story in New Orleans and the story in Las Vegas. Then I want to touch on a subject that for some reason is being overlooked. So let's hit it.
Now, Houston authorities and federal agents have been investigating an area on the city's north side in connection with the deadly attack in New Orleans.
FBI Houston and the Harris County Sheriff's Office say that the agencies were conducting a court-authorized search near the intersection of Hugh Road and Crescent Peak Drive. This morning, we have team coverage. We'll check in with our Gage Goulding again at 6:30 in New Orleans. But first, let's go to Brittany Jeffers, who's live where that suspect lived here in Houston. Brittany, good morning. What can you tell us?
Good morning to you, ladies. And you referenced that intersection at Crescent Peak Road and Hugh Road, and that is where we are right now. You look behind me and you can see there are two vehicles. This is with the Harris County Sheriff's Office blocking the road. And if you look down the street, we can see several different vehicles, law enforcement lights shining in the street out there. Now, as we know, our crews have been here since yesterday watching as this investigation is taking place. People who live in this neighborhood, however, say that this tragedy in New Orleans hitting very close to home.
I was just, hanging at home with my daughters and then kind of heard helicopters.
Really just caught us by surprise, to be honest, because I saw it pop up on my Instagram feed where there's an accident that happened in New Orleans.
I think that just goes to show that there's anything that can happen in the world.
So I want to show you this video. This is from the investigation scene overnight where you can see several different agencies and barricades set up around the neighborhood. The FBI assisted by Harris County SWAT, HPD, and DHS. Again, all near this residence that investigators say the suspect at one point called home. Now, yesterday, I referenced our crews watch. This was during our 5 and 6 o'clock newscast as law enforcement evacuated children from an area near that house on Crescent Peak Drive. Not long after that, our drone captured exclusive video of a man exiting that address with his hands up, and SWAT officers had their guns drawn. We don't yet know if the children or this man have any connection to the suspect, however. Now, the FBI put out a statement several hours ago on social media referencing this investigation and stating that at this point, no arrests have been made. They also referenced the fact that they would be out here for several hours. But as far as a specific timeline, we don't know how long this could take. But of course, because the FBI is involved, this could potentially be quite a long time. As far as the scene gets concerned, again, this morning, if you are driving in the area, this intersection here near Hugh Road and Crescent Peak Drive, again, is blocked off this morning as this investigation continues to evolve. For now, reporting live, I'm Brittany Jeffers, KPRC 2 News.
All right, thanks, Brittany. And we have been able to learn a lot about the suspect from a video that he posted on YouTube. Take a listen.
Now they go, I'll let y'all see.
So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas.
So he got a deep Texas Americanized accent. He got that curly hair, just put a little water in it and, it curls right up. So you can tell he looks like he has, Asian, Eastern features, like with the hair, the whole complexion and everything. But let's listen to the fella talking.
And now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist, where I learned the meaning of great service and what it means to be responsive and take everything seriously, dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that things go off without a hitch.
Now, that is Samsudeen Jabbar, and in this video, he goes on to boast about his attention to detail and negotiating skills. KPRC2 has learned that his real estate license lapsed in 2023.
So let me talk about him right quick. So he was in the military, and they believe that he probably didn't serve active duty. But you know what? Let's go to this article real fast. This Wall Street Journal article. Y'all need to get y'all a subscription. Tell you all the time. It says the descent of an Army vet turned corporate consultant named in the New Year's attack. Say Texas born and bred Shamsuddin Jabbar had worked at Deloitte before plowing a truck with an Islamic State flag into a New Orleans crowd. Amazing they didn't see that flag while he was going down the street. Or did they? Because I ain't even heard no one say, hey, this dude was driving a truck on the sidewalk and he had a black Islamic State flag on the back of his truck. Nobody thought that was weird, huh? But anyway, let's see. Let's say talk about his resume. In recent years, he appeared to take a grim turn with a contentious divorce and his finances in a deep hole, according to the desperate email he sent to his then wife's lawyer in 2022. See, man, hey, we're not even gonna get into family court because that'll drive anyone crazy. They say time is of the essence. I cannot afford the house payment. It's past due in excess of $27,000. Dang, it's probably why he was living in a trailer park right now, and in danger of foreclosure if we delay settling divorce. So basically, you're going back and forth, and that's why people hate this family court system, because he's probably trying to sell the house. She's probably trying to sell the house, or she's probably trying to keep the house. He wants it sold. So lawyers are going back and forth all the while. Nobody's paying the bill. And so the house is about to go on foreclosure. Guess what? They both lose out. Nobody wins except the state and the bank, because the bank will get a hold of it, and now they can go back and sell it, especially now. Probably who knows when they bought the house. But I'm sure like right now, they probably can get double for what they asked for when this guy, him and his wife, bought the house. So say he wrote word about the tens of thousands in credit card debt and other debt he has racked up as his real estate business was losing money, probably because of the pandemic. Houses were expensive. The price of houses was going up, and not a lot of people could afford these houses. Let's see, it talks about what happened on that night in New Orleans. Say he was a senior solution specialist at Deloitte. Here we go. Say discuss how faithful Muslims will be. What did he say? He quoted in English translation of the Quran from a section known as Al Insan, or the man, which discusses how faithful Muslims will be rewarded by God. So let's say indeed the righteous will drink from a cup whose mixtures of Kafur spring, of which the servant of Allah will drink. So I mean, they say he was getting real deep into religion. Well, my thing is he was going through something, going through a lot in these past few years, and it probably just, I don't know what you call it, the straw that broke the camel's back. And then he got a hold of these, started looking into the Islamic faith, and just, so from what the news and the government is putting out there, can't say it's 100% accurate. I'm just saying what they're putting out there. The dude's probably going through something. He might be the perfect candidate for what just happened. But anyway, let's go from that and let's go talk about this guy.
Tonight, authorities identifying the suspected driver of the bomb-laden Tesla Cybertruck that exploded outside the Trump International Hotel, saying evidence points to Master Sergeant Matthew
Y'all see this picture? Pay attention to it.
Livelsberger,
remember this,
who was behind the wheel. Now investigates to Master Sergeant Matthew Livelsberger, who was behind the wheel. Now investigators piecing together the 37-year-old's ID and final few days.
First and foremost is a military identification.
You know what this reminds me of? Y'all remember 9/11 when those two planes hit the towers? It exploded on impact, and then the towers, crumbled. And somehow, some way, somewhere, they found one of the quote unquote terrorists found their ID, a passport, just somewhere, like a miracle. Of all the things that could have been found in the wreckage and all that carnage, they found one of the guy's passports just supposedly laying somewhere. This here like the same thing. This truck blew up. You saw the flames, right? Let me see. You see these flames. Where in the heck? How did his? I'm not gonna say that. Hey, I don't want to say it. Let me just keep going. Hold on.
First and foremost is a military identification. We also found a passport.
Authorities say the body was burned beyond recognition, but the coroner found a gunshot wound to the head prior to the explosion.
There are 2 tattoos that has given us a lot of confidence that this is, in fact, the same person.
Inside the truck, investigators found fuel canisters and firework mortars, plus 2 semi-automatic handguns they say Livelsberger bought legally on Monday. Sergeant Matthew Livelsberger was on active duty, served as a Green Beret assigned to Army Special Operations Command. He was based in Germany but on approved leave, according to Army officials. He was deployed multiple times and was a recipient of the Bronze Star with Valor.
And they say his wife Facebook page, he was part of an anti-Trump Facebook page. Just put it out there.
His motive tonight, still unknown.
I'm comfortable calling it a suicide with the bombing that occurred immediately thereafter. I'm not giving it any other labels.
Livelsberger rented the Cybertruck in Denver on December 28th. Using data from Tesla charging stations, officials tracked his route through Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. On New Year's Day, he was first spotted in Las Vegas at 7:29. 5 minutes later, he's seen driving through the valet area at the Trump Hotel. He drives around for a while, and then at 8:40, he's back at the Trump valet. 17 seconds later, the Cybertruck explodes.
It's pretty scary.
In Colorado, stunned neighbors reporting seeing the active duty soldier with a partner and young child.
They just had a baby, and we'd say hi to each other, and she was a really friendly person.
The FBI spending the last 24 hours searching at least one home in Colorado Springs. What are they keying in on?
So they'll look for clues for him.
All right, so y'all can watch these videos. I'm sure y'all been watching these for the last 48 hours, like all the rest of us. But speaking of watching videos, I've seen different news stations, NBC, CNN, Fox, ABC, what have you. And they're all talking about these events, these tragic events. Now, I'm gonna tell you this much: if Tesla stock don't skyrocket, I don't know what's gonna make it do it, because that thing did not. The windows blew out, but that truck stood like steel. Amazing. But anyway, they talked about everything about the suspects, the history, the military history, whatever, personal history. But no one is talking about the culpability of the military. As in, what is going on with the military? I saw another story where there was like somebody breached a security breach and with AT&T and some other company, and it was a guy who was like active military and did it. And there's another story I can't think of, but these guys in the military, man, the military. There's something wrong with the military. I don't know if it's training. I'm gonna tell you this. I worked at the VA for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. And what I saw, I didn't like. When you first go to orientation, you have soldiers who work for the VA who they do this presentation, and you can tell in their eyes they don't believe what they're saying. All they say is, well, they say it's getting better. We're just going to put trust in them to get better. It's better than it was 20 years ago, blah, blah, blah. But then you still got veterans who say, I know veterans. Where I work at now, I have patients where I used to work at. I had patients that were veterans, and they refused to go to the VA to get treatment because of how they say they was treated. I got family members, friends who got parents and family members who refuse to go to the VA. And I would try to sit there and say, convince them, say, hey, just take care of the benefits. I mean, do what you can. If they allow you to go see a doctor on the outside away from the VA, then you do it, but you take advantage of your benefits because, I mean, you earned them, right? But I also, when I was working at the VA, I saw people who were patients, amputees, diabetics on, and get, got all kind of problems, and they're not riding around in a motorized wheelchair, homeless, and they don't have, like, I guess you call it, the benefits. They don't have like 100% of the benefits. It's like fighting for benefits. And I'm like, dude, y'all guys fought in the wars. Whatever happened in the military is caused y'all to be in this condition, and they have to debate or decide what kind of treatment you get. Like, are you serious? I said I was not a military dude. Full Metal Jacket put me off of that. I thought watching Rambo when I was a kid, thought I was gonna be in the military. Nah, once I saw like Platoon and Full Metal Jacket, nah, that was it. I said, nope, it's not for me. Because they go through a lot, and then you see how when they get out, I know, like I said, like my grandfather, he died of, I think, prostate cancer. But I remember him going to my mom told me, he going to the VA, and he has an appointment, but sitting in the lobby for like 4 hours, like the last time he went to the VA. So he left and went back home to Arkansas. And then next thing you know, he got real sick, come back, said he had prostate cancer, and it was like, couldn't, you know what I'm saying? And it was incurable, couldn't turn it back. It's too late. But nobody wanted to go to the VA because, like I said, the way the veterans were treated. But when you look at statistics, and I look them up because I be wanting to know, just keep in mind this. It says 55.6% of veterans are homeless. Now, I feel, like I said, I'm not a military dude, but I feel if you are willing to go into the military for whatever reason, whether it's because you're a patriot or you just need to pay bills or you have no other avenue after school or what have you to make decent money, and you went to the military to fight for the country, I feel you should get everything you needed while you in there and when you get out, period. So to be homeless, it makes no sense. But a lot of times these homeless folk, they got some kind of addictions or the PTSD, or don't want to take the medication that the military give them because it make them feel a certain way, or if it does something. What's this thing called? Tarkokinesis or something like that? It's something like that. Yeah. It's like you get like a twitch of the movement. I had a patient, knew a guy who was a veteran. He said that he got that from something that some kind of medication they gave him. He was a veteran. And he said he was fine, but then they gave him some kind of medication and it jacked him up. And now they don't know what to do to fix it. So you see, so there's a lot of variables here. But anyway, 55.6% of them homeless, shouldn't be. It says 23% of veterans who use the VA have a case of PTSD. It says 7% who don't use the VA. This is what they know. This is studies they know. It's probably more. Don't use the VA. 7% have PTSD. Also says 80% abuse alcohol. I knew a guy, he was older dude, he was a Vietnam vet. This dude would have like a bottle under his seat in the truck, and he'd have a cooler full of water, and he would chase it. He would take a swig of that liquor, and then take a swig of that water. And this dude was a functioning alcoholic if you ever seen one. This cat had a job. He worked, took care of his family, worked around the house, but he was an alcoholic. I mean, abusing them. Kind of ask him about what happened in the military. He didn't want to talk about it. And he wasn't in Vietnam that long. He was young. I think he said like 19 when he went. And he got like some kind of, he got discharged for whatever reason. But he like said the little time he was out there, he said, man, he wouldn't wish that on his worst enemy. What else? We got 27% of veterans abuse. Now, these people abuse, not use, abuse alcohol. 27% abuse drugs. 7% abuse both alcohol and drugs. Then it says 29% of veterans that are in prison, what do they say, commit violent crimes. They say veterans are like 1 in 3 veterans, or what do they say, 1 in 3 prisoners, something like that. 1 in 3 veterans in prison compared to like 1 in 5 prisoners. No, yeah, 1 in 5, something like that. 1 in 3 prisoners, veterans in prison or have been to jail compared to like 1 in 5 non-veterans or whatever, non-soldiers or whatever. But anyway, it says a higher rate of veterans go to jail for violent crimes than civilians. So, and it says 22%, no, not 22%, but 22 veterans daily commit, take their own lives. 22 per day, they say, is the average. So it's something going on in the military, and it's been going on, and that's probably another branch of protection that needs to be revamped because they need to do better with taking care of veterans. And then you wonder why nobody wants to join the military anymore, unless they know they can get them like an office job or something like that, because there's no benefit to it. There is no benefit to it. Now I got an uncle I know. He retired from, I want to say, the Marines. You sure he's like in his 70s and still now he's working over there. He's a longshoreman, older guy, like in his 70s or whatever, and say he's ready to retire from being a longshoreman. But he retired from the military too. So I mean, it doesn't happen to everybody. Everybody doesn't go through these issues, but a lot of them do. I mean, it's just too high of a percentage. And I feel like these veterans and these folks in the military need to be taken care of better, need to be watched and monitored better. There's no reason why anyone, any type of, I don't care if you're a civilian or a soldier or in the military, there should not be 22 people taking their own lives every day. And they say some of them are like retired like over 50. A lot of them are. So my point is, those are things that I feel that need to be looked into when it comes to like what happened over this past week and anything and any other incidents that have happened in the past, because I feel that's important. It needs to be important because you always want to find what caused it. Nobody ever want to get to the bottom of what caused somebody to do something. Because the first thing people want to say is, "Oh, you're trying to come up with an excuse." No, you're not trying to come up with an excuse. You're trying to come up with an understanding. Because if you come up with an understanding, then maybe you can find a way to prevent it from happening in the future. Because there's not a lot of difference between people in this world. A lot of folks go through things that other people go through, feel stuff that other people feel. It's billions of people on the planet. You can't say everybody individually goes through something, that's just that nobody else goes through. It's impossible. It's impossible. And you can't say that one person is going to deal with a situation differently than everybody else. It's impossible. You're going to have people who have been through stuff, who go through things and deal with it the same way other people deal with it. So I feel you got to get to the bottom of what the problem is. Anyway, that's all I got for this story. Like I say, condolences out to everybody. Hope they do a thorough investigation on these people, the people's lives. If anybody else involved, hey, you commit a crime though, you need to pay the punishment. But also, like I say, you need to figure out what's the cause of all this. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below, share it with the world. Let's have intelligent conversation around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you nothing but maybe a couple minutes out your day, but it means the world to us here. You can also give super thanks, super chats, super stickers, and you can go to the description box where there are links there that you can click on to help support the channel that way. But with that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.